everyone, and welcome back to the Let's Debrief podcast. I'm Jenna.
And I'm Ashley.
And
how we doing?
I feel that today's episode is going to be a long one.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. We have a lot to catch up on, It's been a whole month.
It's been a whole month, and the last episode was your birth.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just that. We didn't talk about...
Here, 1 second. You can keep talking. There you go.
Oh. We didn't talk about any other life updates, not that you had any besides giving birth.
Yeah.
But we just have we have so much to catch up on, and then you guys asked us questions, and there's so many.
Yeah.
We definitely can
try to condense
there's
stuff.
A lot that are on similar topics, but how you been doing?
Oh, I have been chilling. Sorry, I was adjusting the levels.
Your mommy.
I was gonna say, I'm trying to think. I texted Jenna the other day and said, I actually don't know how you survived last winter with a child and with a toddler specifically. I know that, and you've talked on the podcast that was so, would you say the hardest point
It
in
was
your
the
life?
lowest point of my life.
Yeah,
100%.
so far.
I also have realized now doing this winter, I'm oh, pregnancy is not great on me mentally because I have a toddler and a baby now, and it's winter, and I'm oh my God, it's already March. I'm doing great, honestly.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's harder days, but
that was your first time being pregnant through the winter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so.
But I also had a hard time mentally just pregnant with Monty too.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it was really hard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so winter, I think if we can control it, we might be done with winter babies because it's very fine. I've honestly been doing really good, and postpartum wise, I haven't been dealing with any postpartum depression so far or anything, but definitely winter blues and just bored.
Yeah, it's what?
Because also Jen and I have been getting together at least once a week trying to go out and do stuff, and honestly it's mainly for Monty, but I'm just can I please come with you because I need to get out of the house, and that has been really nice, but Cohen can't do anything so it's
yes.
not I'm not even going to the library yet for story times and stuff because I'm he's 2 months old.
It's so weird. I always tell Tanner this, how you think oh my God, I can't wait to do this once the baby's here, and then you don't realize that it's gonna be 2 full years almost until they can really do stuff. I don't know if everyone who listens knows what Idlewild is. It's the amusement park in our town. We bought Idlewild passes literally when she was 6 months old, the first summer she was alive. And I was she's gonna love it. She
didn't care.
She didn't know anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's you think oh, I can't wait to take my baby to do this thing.
Yeah.
And then it's no. I mean, you can.
You can, yeah.
And
there's
maybe you should to just get them acclimated to the world.
Yeah, especially through winter too. I'm a little nervous about him getting sick and stuff, and so but I think we're gonna go to Florida in a few days, and when we get back, I think I'll start doing story time. I'm 3 months, 4 months. That's a good time to start doing things. There's a place called Romp and Roll in Pittsburgh, and they start taking kids at 3 months. I think it's a little silly, but I'm okay, that's good to know that we could go there if we wanted to.
Yeah, and it's gonna start warming up, even just doing walks and just
You're good.
yeah, I mean, it's another thing with well, they can't really play at the playground, but you can go to a picnic or just literally go sit outside in your yard on a blanket with some toys around him and stuff, and it'll just be more just better.
Yeah, I literally cried to Cole one night, and I was I need to go to Florida. I was I need to get out of here. And so yeah, we're going in a few days, and I'm very excited. But yeah, Cohen's first flight.
Yes. And how's he doing overall?
Oh, he's an angel. yeah, I've been telling Jenna, like, he's still in the chill, like, phase. And so, like, he still sleeps a lot. And as of right now, he's 11 weeks. And so I'm like, when does that, like, end? And she's like, I don't know, but enjoy it as long as you can.
Truly. Truly.
But
yeah, he's such a little sweetie.
I know. He's putting on the pounds. He was 6'2" when he was born. And now we went to the doctor for his 2 month. And he was 10'1".
That's crazy.
I know.
It's crazy to think that that all came from your boob.
I know. That's the craziest part. It truly, like, it hasn't hit me that much that, like, I first grew him and then I gave birth to him and now I'm still sustaining him. I'm just kind of like, oh yeah, like, I feed him.
Yeah, I know. It is really wild when you actually sit and think about it.
Yeah. But no, things have been going good. He will go on poop strike for a very long time. A very long time is like a week, and then explode.
Oh my gosh, you guys should have seen.
We'll post the photos.
We were out and about, and he pooped, and it was literally.
I'm so glad
like,
you got to be there to witness it.
It was like all down his legs, all up his back, onto his shoulders, onto his neck, onto his face,
All over my hands.
all over his arms, all over the changing pad, all over the changing table. Like, it was the craziest blowout I've ever seen, honestly. Wow. Oh, by far.
Okay.
By far.
It made me feel better because in the moment I was just like, this is the most insane amount of poop I've ever seen in my life. And I was a nanny for like 5 years. And so I'm like, I have changed a lot of blowouts and dirty diapers. This is a incomprehensible amount of poop.
Yes.
Like, literally, like, we got to the science center and I said to Jenna, he just had a blowout. I took him out of his car seat and I can see it's like all up his back. And so once we get inside, I'm just going to beeline to the bathroom. She was like, okay, cool. And I get into the bathroom and I start like just go into war. And Jenna like pokes her head in and she's like, I gotta help you.
And you didn't have a change of clothes either, so he had to wear like Silas's big outfit.
Which
too.
Honestly, I didn't mind him being in it. I was happy he was clothed, but then it reminded me of him being a newborn since he was so small when he was born that like newborn clothes didn't fit. So then when I saw him in a 9-month outfit, I was like, oh, okay, that looks big. So you're not that big.
He's not that big yet. But yeah, the poop was so crazy.
Yeah, we'll post photo. Like, before anything happened, I was like, Jenna, you have to take pictures of this. The husbands have to believe us and how insane this was.
It was so wild.
But no, yeah, he's a little chiller. He's a little sweetie. There was a bunch of questions about him and parenting and stuff. So
pretty much most questions that we got was about being moms. So I feel like this episode is going to be a mommy episode.
But what's new with you?
Okay, I wrote down one thing, which I didn't even really need to write it down because I remember it. I've been hacked.
Yeah, we haven't even talked about it.
Oh, Ashley.
I get a notification all the time that your account is live.
Oh my god.
And I'm afraid to click on it because I think that they're going to come get me too.
Well, I don't have any idea how I was gotten, except for the fact that like I didn't have anything connected to my TikTok except my phone number. So I didn't have like an email or anything. And to be honest, it's fine. Like, I really just use TikTok for fun. Mm-hmm. It's not like there was anything with like our business or anything, but
gosh, imagine that on your Instagram. That would be awful.
Please. I already told Tanner that. I was like, we have to make sure that's
you should
like
set
more
up like
secure.
the 2-factor.
Yes. I think I have that already. But anyways, I just got a random text one day that said like, TikTok, your phone number has been changed in, and then like it was like 2 Chinese symbols, and it said like if this wasn't you, check your TikTok inbox. And I just thought it was spam. Like, I get so many weird texts all the time that's like whatever, so I just didn't think anything of it. And I don't really get on TikTok very much, but I went to get on like a few days later, and it was like asking me to re-log in. And so I did, and it just said like, there's no phone number associated with this phone number is not associated with any account. And I was like, okay. And then like I didn't have an email for it or anything. So I was just like, okay, I don't think I can really log in. So I just like like made a new account. That was just kind of like where it directed me towards, was like, oh, you don't have one, just make one. I don't know. So I made a new one, and then I looked myself up and I saw that it was live and that the name had been changed to Tamoa.
I saw that.
I'm just like, okay. And basically, like, again, I have no way of literally ever recovering it unless I guess I like.
Well, could you go back and click that link and say it wasn't you?
There's no link. It just said check your inbox,
Oh.
which I can't get into it to check the inbox.
What the heck?
I guess I could like contend with TikTok or whatever, but like, again, it's not that big of a deal to me to like make a huge deal over it, except for the fact that, one, I feel genuinely embarrassed by like that.
Yeah. Like by being hacked, or that it like is still up?
Both.
Okay.
I feel embarrassed that I was hacked because I'm like, people probably think I'm stupid, even though like I didn't do anything. I don't know how it happened. But then like, two, I'm just like, the fact that it's live 24 hours.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And it's like always just like selling a new thing. And I'm just like, I don't know. It
You
just
almost
like
wish that they would have changed your profile picture and like
deleted my followers, because I have like a lot of followers that are just like my friends and like people from high school or whatever. I'm just like, this is weird. And
no,
like,
getting hacked, like you're 100% valid in that, because like I don't think I've ever been hacked, but like when people get hacked on Facebook and then they have to be like, that's not me.
I hate it so much. And yeah, it's just like live 24/7. People like have randomly just started texting me a bunch about it, being like, you know, your TikTok's live. I'm like, I know. And I just want it to get deleted so badly. Also, like,
report.
I know this like sounds like stupid, but it does just feel like very violating in a way.
No, not at all.
Also, like, I don't know like how to say this without like, there's nothing like bad or weird on there, but like I have a lot of videos that I had made just for fun. Like, for example, like there will be like a silly like trend that I think is like dumb, and I would say it to Tanner and he'd be like, you're so annoying. And then I would like make that video, and like it would be in like only I could see it.
Oh,
and I would like send it to him.
Okay, yeah.
But it's like in there so they have access to it.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
fair.
are they gonna post it?
They're like, we're gonna out you. They I don't know. I feel like they've gotten what they wanted out of you.
I guess. I'm just like so annoyed, but that's my life update.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
You were famous on there too.
I once was, but my
I
time
was
of
gonna say
stardom
only
has
the
passed.
real ones know, but I don't even know if you ever. I think maybe you said it on like one podcast episode how you went viral.
If you want to see it, you can go follow Tamoa.
And
Like, why change it to that?
maybe
if
that's their
name.
name.
If you want it to be believable, just leave it Jenna Solit.
Yeah, and then they're like, Jenna's selling this stuff.
They're like, wow. What if? Do you think anyone has bought it? No.
I'll go look at it tonight on the live.
They sell different stuff every day.
Let's go look at it right now.
They were selling shoes for a while. Now they're selling supplements.
Like someone is actively talking the entire time.
Yeah, but it's like definitely pre-recorded. Like it's not like it's like literally that person, because once it was a man and then once it was a woman.
Let's see.
Yeah. They're not live right now.
Oh my gosh, they're slacking.
Tamoa.
Katie sent me a live the other day, and she texted me and said, go look at the live that I just sent you. And it was actually somebody performing surgery.
Please.
And I was like, that can't be real. And she said, it looks awfully real. And I was like, it does.
HIPAA. Is that violate HIPAA?
Oh my gosh. I wish I would have screenshotted it. It was terrifying. I was like, all right, we're monetizing stuff a little too much these days.
We've gone a little too far.
A little crazy. But yeah, we have a lot of questions.
Yes, let's get into it. And if you want to, like, if you have any that you want to combine,
okay.
tell me.
Okay. You just want to start at you just want to keep passing it back and forth? Or
Well, I'm just going to open it too, but
Okay.
Ask whatever you want to ask first.
All right, here we go. One random favorite thing of yours at the moment. We just talked about one.
What was it?
The drink. The Bai
drinks.
drinks.
Cherry drink.
BAI?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cherry drinks are delicious. I have had to be on my electrolytes and real just special drink game recently because of breastfeeding. So I'm really into the Bai drinks that you can, just a drink that you can pick up at Sheetz is always going to be a win in my book. That you can get those at Sheetz, and then Body Armor.
I also, did I tell you I got the body armor packets too, the electrolyte ones?
I think you actually did tell me about it. They're good.
They taste just like it, which is shocking.
That's nice.
Another thing, I would like to combine this with the next question, which was what was on each of your Christmas lists this year, because this was on my Christmas list and it's my favorite thing. It's my Aura ring.
Yes, talk about it. You tell everybody about it.
It's just so great. I mean, I don't need it for any reason, but it does enhance my life because it validates me in many ways, specifically about sleep. And it's very interesting, just like, obviously I'm up with kids in the night, so I can see that. But it's also so interesting to see, like, how I feel that day based on the sleep. I don't know. Because I told Tanner, I hate to say this. I fear that this may be true. Is that, so a lot of days, like, I'll be up in the night and then, like, come morning, the kids both wake up, like, say at 7 a.m. I'm like, Tanner, can you wake up with them? And he'll go get them and let me sleep until, like, 10 or 11.
Ooh.
Those days, I feel like crap, but I think to myself, well, it's because I was up in the night. Usually I do that when it's a bad night.
Yeah.
Then, like, some days I'll have a bad night and I'll have no choice but to wake up with them. Tanner was just on a few different trips, and I had to wake up with both kids in the night and then also wake up in the morning with them. And I was like, I feel fine.
I know.
So I'm like,
the first time that Cohen slept like a longer stretch and like we got like more sleep, which honestly he is a great sleeper. We're doing like 3-hour to sometimes 5-hour stretches, so I'm not complaining whatsoever. But the times that like we get the most sleep, it's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Cole and I are like, oh my god, I can barely keep my eyes open.
Why is it like that?
Why? I feel so rested.
I know. And like this whole time since being a mom, like pretty much every day, Tanner will wake up with her when I had just her, or both
like
of
he's
them.
On like the morning shift.
Yeah, at least like he would let me sleep like another hour. And yeah, it's just crazy because like the other day I literally got 4 hours of sleep and it was broken. And I had to wake up with them. And I was like completely fine. I'm like, oh no. I fear that maybe I actually feel better with a little bit less maybe.
Yeah.
Which I don't think.
I need to know the science behind it.
It's just very interesting to see. And then seeing the deep sleep and the REM sleep and all of that is very interesting.
Is it all based off of your heart rate? Like, does your heart rate like settle
I don't
more?
know. I've tried to think about, because it tracks your stress too. And I'm like, why? Like, there's certain times I'll be like, you're so stressed. I'm like, no, I'm not.
Oh.
And then other times that it's like, you're so relaxed. And I'm like, I really thought I was stressed.
Well, I ask because Cohen has a owlet sock.
Yes.
And
it's a similar vibe.
Yeah, it will track that too. And I feel like that's based off of like his like heart rate, because like when he's awake it can be like 160, and then it's like, oh yeah, I mean obviously it feels him move too, and so it's like Cohen's awake, but then it'll be like he's in light sleep, and I'm like, okay. And then I feel like when it reaches a certain heart rate, they're like, oh, he's in deep sleep.
You're right, because it does tell me like your lowest heart rate tonight was this. Oh. And that's like a thing. But you want to know what's also crazy?
I like how you go deeper into sleep and it's just closer to death.
Literally. The other thing it tells you is how fast you fell asleep. I'm not kidding. It's so weird because I'll come into my bed and be like watching TV for like 30 minutes maybe. And then I'll like turn the TV off and go to fall asleep, and I'll fall asleep in like 5 minutes, and it will say 5 minutes. I'm like, how did you know the difference between when I was watching the TV though?
Interesting.
Also, it tracks like your ovulation, takes your basal body temperature every day. So that's like another.
I might get
that
one.
was why I really wanted it.
Yeah.
Like,
Cause she
for real. Like for real, because I was like, okay, I want to obviously
down the road.
No. I'm saying I'm trying to prevent pregnancy right now. So I want to know like when I'm ovulating and stuff.
Yeah.
And you can sync it with the Natural Cycles app, and like it'll be a little bit even more in depth.
Yeah.
But that app is $16 a month.
Ew.
And I'm like, I don't need to know that.
You have to pay an Aura membership,
yeah,
right?
I think it's like $6 or something.
Okay.
It's not
that
too
kind
bad.
of stuff like kind of annoys me, but like just how it's like this big purchase one time, and then I mean I'm sure you go into it knowing it's the monthly payment, but when I was like initially researching it, it was like, oh, like just so you know it also has this too, and I'm like, that's annoying.
For sure. But I think especially if you are like within childbearing years and like wanting to like not use birth control, whether that's like you're trying to get pregnant or you're trying to prevent pregnancy, I feel like it's really good, because a lot of like the natural family planning things are like you have to take your own body temperature every morning.
Yeah.
And it tells you like whatever, but this does it for you, so that's
nice.
great.
Yeah, next time we're trying to have like the next baby, I feel like I would consider getting one.
Yeah.
And obviously it's nice to prevent too.
Yeah.
But
whatever. I'm loving it, and
she got it for Christmas.
I did get it for Christmas.
My Christmas list wasn't that interesting. I feel like it was just stuff in the kitchen and stuff. I got a baby. Why did you decide to come back to the pod?
I feel like we already answered that in the first episode back.
We missed each other, and
we were both I was in a better place. Yeah. I was back.
Which I feel like someone asked, then the next question is, are you really back? I mean, we're 3 episodes in, we're keeping our promise, so
this is so much more doable for us, so I think we're definitely back.
We could easily put out 12 episodes for this year.
Yeah, I've even thought to myself sometimes, like, should we do it like another
like
sometimes
in the middle of the month to push you through, if it works out, because I mean we are like, it's so nice that we are together, honestly the most that we have been. Do like even when we were doing the podcast, probably because we're just getting the kids together and like meeting up and stuff, and so but obviously when we get together it's full mom life.
Yeah, I was gonna say the only thing that's hard is like we have to record when the babies have someone else with them. Like we can't just like have them hanging out here. It would be chaos.
No. Yeah, but it's so nice. We haven't talked, I mean obviously the podcast is back only recently, but the boys' business is doing so well right now, so like when we get together then they get to work too, so all of the babies are sleeping right now. Mommies are working and daddies are working.
And this is our full-time job.
And if you want to make it our full-time job, you can Venmo me.
And if you want to make it our full-time job, we will be back once a week.
Oh, 1,000%. Once the sponsorships start rolling in.
If this podcast ever made any money, I would definitely be like, we gotta get back to it.
100%. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. So there's a few questions. Let's try to combine some of them.
Okay.
So it's kind of hard. Okay, let's talk about this one. So some people are asking about crunchiness. So some people said, are you crunchy? What are you doing to be crunchy? And then some people are saying, like, what's your current mindset around it? This person says, Jenna, being a little less crunchy now than before. How do you approach deciding what things you're more relaxed about versus what things you aren't? So let's talk about the crunchy vibes.
All the crunchy vibes. So are you not crunchy anymore? Did you turn in your card?
Yeah, I'm definitely on the scrunchy.
Scrunchy is such a good vibe.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
can hear you itching.
Sorry. My shirt is a little textured. Um, okay. For me personally, I feel like becoming a mom is what made me less crunchy because I think that I realized like there's just some stuff that I was just kind of like, I just gotta do what I gotta do to survive right now.
For sure.
And so, like, for example, one of the things, like, I'm not kidding when I tell you, like, I said to myself, like, I said probably publicly, I would never give my child a drop of Tylenol. And I meant it with my whole heart. And now it's like, it's not good for me or my child when they're up screaming the entire night because their tooth is coming through. And maybe some people's kids are, you know, whatever, easier with teething or whatever it might be. But it's like, the things that I have like decided to be relaxed on, it's been because of like necessity.
It's a pick your battle.
Yes. It hasn't just been like, oh, I just don't care anymore. It's like one by one, there will be things that are like, oh, I tried the natural remedy and we're still screaming, so we're gonna do some Tylenol.
For sure.
And it's gonna be fine.
Yeah. But the scrunchy part of it is getting the dye-free Tylenol.
Exactly. And like the Genexa or whatever.
Yeah.
Or
still going clean, in quotes, like alternatives, but like, all right, let's get some medicine in here.
yeah, I also feel like I thought I would be so, I just recently posted this on my Instagram about like screen time. Like I was definitely like, my child will not look at a screen until they're 5 years old and blah blah blah. And it's like we definitely have like pretty, I actually don't know how like most families operate truly, because I would love to see inside other families' homes, like what they're, not what they're showing on social media, like truly what they're doing. But like I do think we have like decent boundaries with screens. Like we always do it on like a big screen in our family room. We have like a rule of only certain shows that we're allowed to watch that are older shows. Obviously we're not doing it in excess, but like we also will do it when, you know, some friends are over and somebody's having a meltdown, or like we're on a road trip, or we're on a plane, or we're sick. And I just thought like I would never do that. So like again, it's like things that have just kind of come up naturally, and it's like, oh, I actually didn't realize also that it wasn't as big of a deal as I once made it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I can attest of like being in the house when like Monty's watching a screen and she's not obsessed with it. She doesn't stand at the foot of it and just watch like all day
Praise.
long. Literally, she literally cozies up on the couch in her little setup, and it's like you can tell like a relaxing like wind down thing for her. And it's very sweet. And especially, yeah, you said like it's Little Bear, it's Daniel Tiger. And like she is learning things.
Yeah, and also like, do you know how like people with like food will say about their kids like put everything on their plate and like don't comment about like if you eat the chicken you can eat the cookie. Like just don't say anything, and then like sometimes they'll eat the cookie and nothing else, but a lot of times they'll eat the chicken and maybe a bite of the cookie or both. I feel like it's kind of like that, of like I never made a super big deal about it, and I never used it as like a reward or like a crutch. And so it's just kind of like she knows she never gets upset when I turn it off. She every once in a while will ask for it, and if I say not right now, she never cries about it. Like it's, I never made it into this like
thing on a pedestal.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I think that has also helped a lot. But yeah, to answer that question, I feel like we definitely are still crunchy when it also comes to like eating, in terms of like the big stuff too, like meat, dairy. We still love our raw milk. We go through many gallons a week.
I have not left that in the past.
We are going to have to take out a second mortgage due to the raw milk expenses.
Oh my gosh. I know we haven't had any in our house since Cohen's been here, not out of intentionality for any reason of like, we just haven't had the time. We have, I mean, when Tub Mill opened, that changed everything for you guys.
Oh my gosh.
Because now yours is down the street, but like ours, we either order it or it's like 20 minutes away. And so we just haven't brought it around that much. And I forgot where I was going with that. But like, yeah, no. That's what I was going to say is it is actually incredibly expensive.
It really is. And unfortunately, it's not just for Monty. It is also, we refuse to drink other milk because we're like, now it like tastes bad to us.
That's fair.
Like, and we make multiple coffees every day. So
Yeah.
we're just like, well, this is a sacrifice we got to make.
Yeah.
But
Hey, your farmer, not your doctor.
amen. But yeah, no, we definitely are still like that about big items of food and stuff, but also like going back to like not making the biggest deal of things. Like if we're out and she wants to get a cookie or somebody at their house gives her whatever, like I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, and as far like crunchiness for me, like, and being a mom, there's literally been nothing that has like come up. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, I feel in some way, like, I think someone said too, like, do you still like home cooking and stuff like that? Yes, for me, I love baking, love
us too.
Yeah, doing it from scratch.
I'm also definitely in like my most cooking that I've ever been in right
100%. Jenna has brought me so many meals since being postpartum, and like
it's my passion.
oh yeah, Jenna is a perfect like village. Like
Don't even say that because I'm gonna get too
no, like we
mad.
just had like a friend that had a baby too, and she's like, I'm gonna be going to her and I'm gonna bring her food, but like it's like always a feast as well too. So anyways,
That's so nice
a lot of
of you
people
to
asked
say.
if they could be our friends too, and so you should get Jenna in your corner before you have a baby, so then she can bring you some food. I will
Okay.
also bring you food, but Jenna's just been really in her
I
era
have
right now.
been. Everyone who said like, do you want more friends? I literally mean it from the bottom of my heart. I am begging for more friends.
She
And
has me, but I mean, and you've been getting Ligonier friends.
No. I have really been getting good friends in Ligonier specifically. And
She's been
I'm-
booked and busy. I have to schedule.
I have been, okay. But I would love more friends, and I finally feel like we're starting to like have a community here, and I am just trying to like get more of a group. Do you know what I mean? Like I have a lot of like individual friends, but I'm like, we got to get like a gang together that like we're gonna have barbecues.
Yeah, a gang and a gaggle.
Someone also said, like, I love living in Ligonier, but I don't have many friends. I'm 24 and 25. Legit, please DM me immediately.
If anybody asks to be our friends, please DM us. I have people that
Literally.
will actually like DM me, be like, I listened to the podcast. So anyways, you said this, and I'm like, yeah, like text me. Like
My friend Lexi, who has become like one of my closest friends out here and has blessed my life so
Aw.
much with her motherhood, which I actually wrote this down to talk about on another question. But she has just like been the best friend to me, and she legit listened to the podcast, don't know how she heard about it, and just like DM'd me and was like, I have 202 too if you want to hang out ever.
fun.
And I'm like,
was she the one that we
here
were
we
gonna
are.
go to the play place with?
Yes.
Oh, well, okay. I need to meet her.
I want to ask you something, but I don't want to say it on the thing.
Oh, what do you mean? Like you don't want to
Like,
say it on the podcast?
Yeah, like I want to say, like, are you okay with talking about a certain thing?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, that's fine.
that's crunchy.
Yeah, so we have been co-sleeping, which
I just didn't want to say it if you don't want to talk about
that's totally fair. Honestly, like I have been shocked at the like I feel like at first and I'll explain how it happened, I guess. But I've like brought it up to like people, like, because I mean that's like a question that everybody asks is like, how are they sleeping? And so I'm like, oh yeah, he sleeps in bed with us and it's been good. And so I mean, before you gasp and freak out, I would encourage everyone to research Safe Sleep 7. My friend Tori that I knew, like she was out about her co-sleeping. So I knew I could trust her.
She was open.
She was open. And so I like reached out to her. So, I mean, I feel like it's very classic that a lot of parents end up like here, but like around like 3 weeks, we were just like, we were getting like decent enough sleep, and but he was just really hard to like get back down inside the bassinet, and the bassinet was like pushed up right against our bed, and like, and honestly I feel like we were going through much more like unsafe sleep measures of like, he liked laying on his side, and then he liked being in the snuggle me, so we would lay him on his side in the snuggle me, and he liked that, but I was just terrified that if his nose got pressed up against the side, and so I'm not sleeping because I'm terrified that
I remember you texted me like, I'm literally sitting up all night watching him.
yeah, like when he would cry like to eat, I would be like, okay, cool, finally I have a reason to be awake, like, yeah. And so there was one night that I brought him, I was side lying, like feeding him, and we both fell asleep, and I woke up. It was like one of those things where I woke up a few hours later and I was like, wait, did that actually happen? Like, was I just feeding him? And then like you look at the clock and it was like, oh, it's like been 3 hours. Oh my gosh, he just slept for 3 hours. Like,
yeah, because he was next to me.
Yeah, that's the longest like stretch he's had at this point. And so I kind of just started floating the idea to Cole, and I was like, what do you feel like about co-sleeping? And I was like, I definitely don't feel comfortable unless we have like an Owlet sock. And so this is actually a really cool story. I was like, I want to try to find one secondhand. Like, let's see if I can find one on Facebook Marketplace. And because if you don't know, they're $300. And while after having one now, the peace of mind I feel like is worth the price tag, but just also look on Facebook first because there's a million of them out there. And
just that for any baby product
ever
in general before you buy.
Literally. And so the very first one I saw, it said like Owlet for sale, $150, so half off, pick up in Monroeville. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's perfect. And so I clicked on it, and it was actually a girl I knew from church, and I've done their family photos before. And so I was like, oh my gosh, I'll just text her. And so I texted her and I was like, hey, like I saw that your Owlet was for sale. Like I'll take it. Like, when can I meet up with you? And she was like, I'll give it to you for free. And incredible. I was like, no, like, please, can I give you anything? She was like, no, like, it gave me so much peace of mind. Like, I'd love to give that to you. And I was like sobbing. So that was like an amazing gift. And so having that also, I was like, okay, I feel much better. Yeah. And again, like, I didn't even know that it tracked their sleep. I thought it literally only tracked like their vitals. It tracks their heart rate and their oxygen.
Has there ever been a time when it like slipped off and like
when it slips
you out?
No, because when it slips off and it can't get a reading, it will play a lullaby.
Oh, that's so great. It's not
like
it's like dead.
Yeah, no, thank God.
Okay,
if it can't get a reading, then it'll go beep, 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 beep. Which the first time it happened, Cole and I shot up and we were like, what? And then it was like, can't get a reading. And we were like, oh, okay. But yeah, we've been co-sleeping, and he sleeps either like in between us, like just on his side. He just loves sleeping on his side. Also, if you are having a baby anytime soon, just know that like they'll tell you in the hospital and at the doctor that back is best, which I would definitely try that first, but I am convinced no baby likes sleeping on their back.
As soon as I like stopped swaddling my kids, they both rolled to their belly like that night and never went back.
Yeah, Cohen loves his belly. I'm not prepared for the belly yet. It makes me a little too nervous still. But so he sleeps on his side. But there are occasionally when he's like so tired that he'll kind of like sprawl like on his back, but I never lay him down on his back and he stays like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and honestly, like, I don't shame anybody. There are people that are like passionate about co-sleeping. I love it. Like, I love that he's close. I love that like it's working for him. It works for us. I mean, he's 11 weeks old. The other night he slept 5 hours straight. And so I was like, that is a huge win in my book. But I don't shame people that put their kids in bassinets. There are some people that are like, it's natural. They're supposed to be next to you. And it does feel natural for me and us, but I don't care if you put them in a bassinet. I don't care if
Yeah.
they're in their crib by 2 months. Like,
Both of us are never going to judge another mom again.
no.
And I will say 100%, I used to judge moms all the time before I was a mom.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm always I'm always a silent judger, and I feel like sometimes people can sense that. Like I will never be like, ooh, like, especially to somebody's face.
Oh, me either.
Yeah, like,
But to Tanner, I'd be like, my kid's never going to do that. And then
yeah,
do.
Cole and I always will, if we see something that like we don't like, we always will go like, I mean, if we can control it, I would really not like to do that.
Yes.
But it's always keeping the door open of like, listen, man, I don't know. Like,
you don't
maybe
know what they're going to do.
Yeah. And so like we're kind of how I feel about co-sleeping right now is like, hey, it's working right now.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of didn't say, but like, yeah, we were trying to put him back in the bassinet and it was up, down, up, down, up, down. And Cole, like the bassinet was on my side of the bed, so when it was like Cole's shift, he was getting up and walking around and leaning over the bassinet and tapping him.
Wait, how were you sleeping through that?
Oh, I wasn't.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
oh, actually, there were some times that I was actually like so tired that like after I fed him, I'd be like, okay, here you go, and
you
like
could
I would
sleep.
actually go back to sleep. Yeah.
That's so interesting because, like, literally, if I hear Silas make one sound on the monitor, Tanner wakes up with Silas and I wake up with Monty. If I hear him make one sound, I'm like, Tanner, he's up. And until he gets to him, I
You're awake.
am just sitting there awake.
Yeah. Yeah, there have been a few times that I'll just like fully conk out. Like
Yeah.
this morning he Cohen was up. He slept 12 to 2, which was Cole's shift. And then so Cole got to give him to me, but it was very short. And then he slept with me 2 to 5:30. And when I say shift, it's basically just that person's in charge. And then he was kind of like stirring like from 5:30 to 6. And so I was like, whatever. I love putting on the news and just watching the news. And so I just stayed up, and then it was like 7:30 and Cole was waking up, and I was like, oh, I'm kind of tired. Like I might like lay down. And the next thing I knew, it was 9:30. And I was like, oh my gosh. And he disappeared, and he took him downstairs. But he was like, yeah, I changed his diaper. He was a little fussy. And I was like, I slept through that? And he was like, yeah. I was like, oh, wow. Okay. So yeah, I think when you're just so tired,
Yes,
your body's like, and we're shutting down. But yeah, if anyone has any questions about co-sleeping, you can reach out to me. I was gonna say I'm passionate about it. I'm definitely passionate about it for our family, and it is very convenient, especially going on our first trip that you don't got to bring a pack and play or anything.
Yeah. I was gonna ask then, someone asked, what's your most underrated and overrated baby product? I was gonna ask, do you think the outlet sock is like for sure, is that your number one purchase?
That and the Artie Pop carrier are probably the most expensive items I own. Technically, like our stroller system is probably the most expensive, but I got it on MacBid, so $70. But yeah, the outlet and the Artie Pop are probably the most expensive things that we have, and I think both of them are worth the hype. Granted, okay. I don't have any other carrier to compare.
Is there anything that you would say is like everyone says to get this and it doesn't matter? Well, we were just talking about it actually.
Yeah. If you plan to breastfeed, even like casually give your baby bottles, you do not need a bottle sterilizer. I remember texting Katie and being like, do I really need a bottle sterilizer? And she was like, does the dishwasher work? Why can't you just put them in the dishwasher? And I was like, yeah.
Yeah. Or just wash them.
And like, yeah, he doesn't get that many bottles, and I don't pump like ever. So I'm not washing parts or anything. So yeah. I think a bottle sterilizer is overrated. And we said wipe warmer.
Wipe warmer. What else did we just say?
I said it's things that make things hot.
Oh, a bottle warmer.
Or yeah, warming up the bottle.
Yes, I was also gonna say a nice nursery.
Oh, is overrated.
So overrated.
The fact that he has such a cute nursery and a beautiful little glider, beautiful crib. I'm like, will he ever use those things?
Who knows?
There was one night this was devastating. He was probably like 4 or 5 weeks, something like that. And for a while, I would always put the haka on the opposite side that I was nursing to collect like the letdown of milk. And that's kind of how I built up a freezer stash. And I was taking the haka off. I was getting ready to pour it into the bottle. And something misfired in my brain. And I poured the bottle all over the bed. And I literally was like... And Cole was awake with me and he was like, oh my gosh, like, it's okay. And I was just like, I don't know what happened. Like, I literally just like, I just dumped it.
Yeah.
Whatever. So Cole was like, okay, you take him, you go over to our room is directly across from the nursery. You go sit in the nursery. Like, I'll switch out the sheet. We had like an extra sheet under the bed. And I was like, thank you so much. But I sat in his like rocker and I was like, oh, this is nice. I don't know if I'm ever going to use this, but this is nice.
I know. It's so, even like, I do use a rocker in a crib, but it doesn't look cute. It's in a literal blacked out room. Not just blacked out, but on top of the blackout curtains are black blankets. So it literally looks like a dungeon. And I have one small lamp in there. And that's the only lamp I ever turn on. So I don't even see the room ever. It's on when I am rocking him and then I lay him down. And that was the same with Monty too. It's like the moment that they like got more alert, I had to black out the rooms. And
I am very like
the
our
nurseries are dungeons.
Yeah. Our room is not blacked out whatsoever, so I'm very interested to see if that starts affecting him at all, especially as the sun starts rising earlier.
Oh, I hope it does not.
I know.
I hope it does not.
Oh, I didn't even think about daylight savings coming up with a baby.
Don't even bring it up to me. Wait, what does that mean?
It's spring forward, so we lose an hour.
No, but what does that mean? Will the time, okay, like right now it's 9 p.m. or whatever, will it actually be 10?
Yes. You jump forward.
So does that mean in the morning when it's 7 a.m. my kids are waking up, it's actually going to be 8 that they're waking up?
It will, wait, people are like screaming at their phones. It will feel like 7 p.m., but it will be 8 p.m.
Right. So if they wake up at 7 a.m. every day, will they actually be waking up at 8? But it will still feel like 7, but it'll be 8.
Yes, I think.
Okay. I don't know, man. I'm stressed about that.
Who knows? Maybe we're going to cancel daylight savings altogether.
I wish.
We're moving to Arizona. Anything you want to add on the crunchy?
No.
Okay. This is a quick one. Will Cole and Ashley ever move to Liggy? Probably not.
Sad.
It's Cole and I are both like realizing about each other that like, I mean, obviously we both grew up on 2 completely different sides of the country, and he is mountains and I am beach. And I'm like, wouldn't it be so nice like to go live at the beach? And he's like, wouldn't it be nice to be in the mountains? And so right now we're we're nowhere near the beach, but like going to Florida is that for me, or in California.
Also, if people don't like know the lore, Ashley's parents live in Florida, so it's not like they're just going and spending all this money every time. Like
they're like, you're going to Florida for 2 weeks.
They just stay with her parents, so it's not like it's like they're taking these vacations all the time.
Yeah. It's literally our flights down there. It was like $100 one day or one way, and then $80 the other way.
Yes, and you have points and blah blah blah. You guys are.
Ligonier is a little too small town for me. I didn't grow up in a small town, and I think I would just go a little stir crazy. Cole, I don't think wants to move back, but definitely could be convinced.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. How many kids do you both want?
Ooh,
the age-old question. I need to have a newborn about 10 more times. No, I'm kidding. I'm at like 3 or 4.
Okay. I am at, Lord willing.
Lord willing.
minimum is 4. I will have 4 children again, Lord willing.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, I will be open to any number that I will take it one by one.
Do you feel like you will cut yourself off age-wise at some point?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I will take it one by one of how I'm feeling, how our family's feeling, if I feel like I have enough time to give to each kid, if I feel like my body can handle it. Like, I will just see how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I will have at least 4 if I am able to.
Yeah. I think 4 is such fun lore. Like,
4 is just such a great number. And also, like, I don't want to be that person, but it also will depend on the genders.
yeah.
So, like, I obviously have one of each right now. Say I had 2 more girls or 2 more boys, and I only had 1 girl. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If I had...
Like, that would determine if you'd go for another.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's your current mindset around school for the kids?
I'm going private.
I like the private school that you have on the like close by is great too.
Yeah. I always thought I would homeschool. I guess that's another like crunchy thing. I always thought I would homeschool, and then like having children, realistically, I'm like, I don't think I have the capacity to do
It's
it
a
well.
lot. Yeah, it's a lot.
If I continue to keep having children, like, I can't imagine right now having like a first grader and a kindergartner and the kids I have, and like trying to literally school them while also having the little ones. Like, I think it's so amazing that people do it. And maybe like if they were all older, or like say I was just gonna cut myself off right now at 2 kids and I knew they were close in age, I probably could do it. But knowing that I want to keep having younger kids, I'm just like,
it doesn't feel fair to everybody.
It doesn't, or myself.
Literally.
And again, I would consider it more, I guess, if we didn't live in a place that, I mean, our public school is even great here.
It grew you both.
Yes, it did. Great public school, great private school. So I'm like, but if I lived in the city, I probably would be like, I'm going to have to homeschool.
No, that's actually like where I'm at right now. I did my last 2 years online for high school, and our friend, she's a friend, posted that she's been doing cyber school with her kindergartner, and that's currently where I'm like 100%. Like, I don't think I could actually homeschool, but I think cyber is a great option. And I, as someone that did like graduated from it too, I loved that I was able to have a job at the same time. And like, obviously my kindergartner is not going to have a job, but I love the idea of like, let's do school for a few hours a day. And then like this currently, like, yeah, public school is kind of off the table for me strictly because of the safety. Like, I'm like, I can't.
I completely agree.
Especially if I'm still doing what I'm doing right now, like in our jobs, we have that capacity, like,
yes,
if like, yeah, and it's something that I feel passionate about, but again, I'm like, I can't teach you, so
yeah.
I'm gonna get curriculum from elsewhere.
Someone asked if you were planning to go back to work or if you were gonna stay home.
Yeah.
Would you like to address it?
Yes, this is the first time I've talked about it. So I'm actually staying home. I quit church. No beef.
After a lot of years.
After a lot of years. Yeah, Cole and I had been talking about it and praying about it, and things have honestly just been going so well, photo and video, like wedding wise, and things fell into Cole's lap, so he could basically pick up my church salary with a different job, and it supplemented my entire church income. And so leaving church was very, I mean, I'm still around, like we still actively attend church. Cole still works there, but it was very sad because it was one of those things that like you didn't know the last time was the last time.
Especially because like you were kind of like gonna see how it went, and you literally were going to obviously go on maternity leave, but then you had him early, so it was like you were not prepared
No.
for that
I
to
mean,
be the end.
yeah, and I think the last day I went into work was on Wednesday, and then he was born on Sunday. And so, but yeah, God has like honestly provided greatly. And anytime I ever get stressed about anything, someone inquires for a wedding. And so it's like it's all been very cool. And I'm feeling very, 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 very lucky. And yeah, we're just going to kind of see how it goes. It's great right now because it's quiet season.
Yes.
So when we're leaving him, and honestly, our weddings this year are peppered throughout the year. So it's not like we're gone like every weekend in October or anything. So I am excited. And honestly, every time I sit down at my laptop to even do anything, I'm like, oh, and he's like laying next to me. I was like, I am the luckiest woman in the world.
I completely feel the same way. Being a photographer is the biggest blessing. Like, as a mom, if I was working full time, I absolutely would have quit. And because, I mean, working moms are just absolutely amazing. And that's not to say we aren't working at all, because we obviously both do photography as well, which in busy season is a good bit of work.
Mm-hmm.
But being able to only leave your kids 1 day a week max and make a normal salary is like unheard of.
Yeah,
truly.
It feels like you're hacking
you're
the system.
Yes,
in some ways. Yeah.
And I am so thankful, because I wanted to be a photographer before becoming a mom was even really a thought. And so I'm just like so shocked. Like, I feel like a lot of people, and obviously no, like, it's great if you do this too, but like I feel like a lot of people, once they have kids, they're like, I got to figure out something else that will work, and then they start to like pick up photo, because they're like, it's a great situation. But I'm just so thankful that we like both built our businesses to a good point before we became moms.
I literally said that to Cole the other day. I was like, can you believe like this was, and like, again, like I said, it was no shade towards church or anything. Like, it was just worked for our family, but genuinely church set me up for this. Like, I learned how to be a photographer because of church. And then people started asking me like, oh, can you do this? Can you do this? And it was like, oh, I think like I actually have like a business here. And so I just like said to Cole the other day, like, can you believe like how God orchestrated like all of this? Like, I was always thankful for the extra money, and I'm like, love working, and that I also felt that too, where I was like, I don't think I can be like a full-time stay-at-home mom. I think I need a thing, like something that gets me out of the house. And we left Cohen for the first time for our wedding only a few weeks ago. We had like a Valentine's Day like weekend wedding, and I felt great. Like, I didn't feel like mom guilt that much. He was with his grandparents, and so I was like, mom's going to work. And like, I was jokingly saying it to him, I was like, she does this like 15 times a year. And I was just like, that's insane. And yeah, I just feel very lucky, and it's definitely a thing that God orchestrated before I ever knew, like, again, when I would be a mom, like, or I always knew I wanted to be, but
and
like that I would want this.
Can we talk about like how also crazy it is that like our husbands somehow did video through different routes as well, and then met us, and we both like were able
living
to
the
do
same
that.
life.
And then but now our husbands have a business together. And like, it allows us to also take a bigger step back and be home with our kids more. It's just so crazy.
No, yeah, our lives are so intertwined, and it's really, really cool. But yeah, I feel like the boys started getting stuff at the same time. Like, Cole and I had like I knew that like I like wanted to step away from church, and like that we like it would be like, I don't know, some financial bending, but I was like, let's see how this like plays itself out and whatever. And like, once we had like that conversation of looking at like the finances and stuff, it was like, hey, so and so reached out, hey, this is happening, hey, actually, like, Cole reached out to someone for something completely different, and then they came back and said, wait, I actually need you for this. And so it was simply none of my doing, is all I'll say.
Amen. I was gonna ask, I had one
Oh, go
ready,
ahead.
which was I'm gonna kind of combine these, but someone who said like what would you have, like, is there anything you would have done with your husband before you
Mm.
had kids, such as spent more time together, talked about something specific, etc.? And then I'm gonna kind of combine that with like, how would you mentally prepare yourself for kids knowing what you know now, and would you change anything pre-kids?
Do you want to go first?
In terms of like things that I would do like with my husband, I feel very happy with the time that we spent together, like pre-kids.
Yeah, because you guys got 5 years before you had Monty.
um she was born like at 4.5,
Okay.
so like a little under 4.
And that was married. Obviously, you
Yeah,
guys have been together
married.
for a long time.
Yeah, but I was very happy with it, but I do think that, I don't know. I think that, and this is like not, I'm not trying to like say that this person was like wrong for asking this at all. I do think that there is like this mindset and culture of just like, you should have done XYZ. You should get all the fun and good times out of your system before you become a mom, because then it's gonna suck. And then you can never do these things. And definitely some of that is like true in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, it's probably not gonna go super great if you take like a 1 year old on a 24-hour flight. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's just like, there is the reality that like things are gonna be harder in certain ways, but also like, I just think that like having kids makes your marriage so much stronger and like more fun in other ways that like, I don't know, I just like, it makes me sad when people have the mindset of like, well, I need to do these things before like my life is over, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it really is just not. You know what I mean? Do you
Yeah.
agree with that, or what do
I
you see
feel,
it
let's
as?
honestly, I mean, it might be hard in some ways. I feel like maybe for us to answer specifically for like doing things with them, just thinking about, we both are with our husbands 24/7.
That's true.
I 100% agree with everything you said, but I was just like, I don't think I would have done anything different. Like, Cole and I were together for 3 years, married for 2 years before we had Cohen, and like we went on the big Europe trip, and I mean, Lord willing, I would love for Cohen to come on a trip like that, like one day, and obviously that makes things much harder, but like it was nice, and like you guys had a similar thing, like
Yeah.
when you went to Europe before Monty, but like it's nice like having that experience. But I think like if I hadn't have done it, I wouldn't be like, oh, we should have done this before kids.
I completely agree. And actually, that was something that before I had kids, I said, like, very seriously, was like, before I have kids, I want to go to Europe and, like, see all these different countries. And I did it, and it was fun. But again, looking back, I was like, you know, I can do that later or whenever, like, I don't know. Yeah,
I think like if you are like a quality time person, like yeah, spending like time with each other, it's just so hard. I don't know if you feel this way. So far, I'm only 2 months in. I've had a very easy go. Cohen is he's still a chill baby. Like he
he's a
sleeps a lot.
sleepy
And
boy.
like, so Cole and I have gone on dates with him there sleeping the entire time. That won't be the reality for like a long time, like it's going to change in the future, and I also don't have a lot of guilt leaving him for a date night. So I feel it's like kind of hard for me to comment, because I'm like, no, we can still go on dates, like.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I think like that is definitely important. Obviously, like that's what any like person who's like, how do you prioritize your marriage after kids? Make sure you have date nights. Like
Yeah.
that's like the number one like thing that people say. Um I can't even remember where I was going with this.
The one that you combined it with, I kind of forgot.
It was like, what would you tell yourself, like, as a piece of advice before becoming a mom? Okay, I actually wrote down my answer to this one.
Okay.
Okay, if I could go back to tell myself something before I had Monty, one of them would definitely be to, like, hold things more loosely because, and this might just sound so cliche, and like, again, like, this is probably something that, like, you would hear but not actually internalize, but, like, your baby is going to do whatever they want to do and you really can't control their temperament, and also just, like, situations that you get yourself into, you know what I mean?
Like your baby pooping their pants at the science center.
Yes, exactly. So just, like, I would tell myself to, like, hold things a lot more loosely, and the thing with, like, even just the crunchy stuff, like, being able to say that I'm, like, fine with all of those things is crazy to me because I have spent hours beating myself up over things like giving my child Tylenol when they're teething and things like that. So, like, I would tell myself, like, things will not go to plan. And it's
Literally throw all of your expectations out the window.
Truly, it's supposed to be that way because it's making you more flexible, it's making you more resilient, it's making you a more empathetic person, it's making you literally, it is like trial by fire in the best way. Like, I cannot believe how, like, much better and stronger of a person I am now than I was when I had Monty. So that's the first thing I would tell myself. Here's the second thing. Let's see what I wrote down. Oh, spend a lot of time with other moms who have small children.
It's Katie has always said this too, like, with her kids are a little bit older, but she's like, it's nice, like, getting kids together. You would think, like, 6 kids running around is chaos, but they're entertaining each other. And then I get to hang out with my friend.
Yeah, no, but this is what I'm saying is when you're I agree with that. I agree with that. But when you're pregnant, I think if you have friends who have small kids or even babies, like, someone who's pregnant should come spend time at your house with you and Cohen.
Yeah.
And, like, just literally ask you things and just, like, be like, can I, like, feed him a bottle? Like, can I change his diaper? Like,
ooh, that's a good tip.
I feel like I had been around babies in general in my life. Not like you had because you were a nanny, but, like, before having Monty, I couldn't tell you the last time I had held a newborn baby.
Yeah.
Or just, I mean, even before she became a toddler.
I
have not hung out with a toddler. I had no idea what was going to happen.
Yeah.
I had literally no idea. And so, like, if you have a friend who has, like, 2 young kids and you're pregnant or want to have a baby soon, you should just go over to her house, bring her a coffee, and just talk to her. Literally.
Yeah.
And she would probably love to spew her
guts about everything.
She probably wants to talk about it too.
Truly, like, I feel like people, like, joke about it. I mean, I was a nanny for years, but then Cole and I are both very involved with Joe and Shayla's kids, and Jen and Tan's kids, and it was the best preparation. Like, babies, I feel like babies are pretty, like, easy for me, but talking to Monty, talking to Farah, I'm like, and obviously the nanny experience, I'm like, I know exactly, like, what to expect, like, what's around the corner. But also having friends that have preceded me in that phase is really nice.
Yeah, that's the last thing that I wrote down is, like, you should, okay, this is kind of
here's what you're gonna do.
So no, what I was gonna say is, like, Tanner and I try to not take, like, parenting advice from people who don't have, like, older children. Like, if your kids are, like, 3 or 4 and you're like, yeah, I just, like, told them this and whatever, because I read this one time that they were saying, like, you can't really tell the effects it had on the kid until a little bit later in the relationship they have with the parents. So maybe some parents I'm not making any statements about discipline or anything, but like some parents might be like, oh yeah, if they do this, spank them immediately. And then it's like, okay, maybe the kid's only 4, but maybe a 15-year-old, they could say like, yeah, I'm terrified of my parents because of that, or whatever it might be. So like we try to take parenting advice from like people with grown children, but it's been so helpful to me. This is going back to my friend Lexi, and then also my friend Kara, who literally lives in Michigan. And we met so long ago, but both of them have had 2 under 2, but they're like a year ahead of me. And they have helped me so much with just day to day, what is going on. I remember like texting Kara whenever Monty was like only doing 30-minute naps and just being like, what's up with the 30-minute naps?
What's the deal?
And because she had just gone through it with her kid, she was like, you gotta black out the room as much as you can. Like, put blankets. I don't care what you have to put on. Like, it will help. And it did. And I feel like going back, like the older parents who have kids with older children, though, they don't remember that stuff very much.
Also, times have been a change.
Times have changed very much. But it's so helpful to have moms whose kids are like literally a few months to a year ahead of yours, because it's fresh in their minds and it just feels like they're in it with you. Even like I remember my friend Lexi, like when Monty kept getting sick over and over again, she was just like, do this, give her a popsicle, it's okay, let her watch TV, sleep in bed with her, do whatever you need to do. This happened to me. Like, my daughter had this. She was sick for so long. Just so many things. And I'm just like, I'm not crying. I have something in my throat.
I'm not emotional.
I'm okay. But that has been so, so helpful to me.
Yeah. No, I mean, as someone very fresh in it, I 100% agree. I also, like, I thought about this recently. Obviously, I had a very young mom. She had me when she was 17. And I just think about all the time. I mean, again, in the 2 months I've been a mom, or just like thinking about situations in the future, I'm like, my mom literally raised me at 17.
You're like, what if I was doing this, but I was 17?
Yeah. I was like, I can do it.
Oh, I think about that all the time. Just different.
Or like the stories that your parents will tell you of like, oh, like, yeah, you did this. Like, both of our parents were like, oh yeah, we co-slept with you. And I was like, really? Like, oh my God. And they're like, yeah, it was a hard habit to break down the line, but like, but I'm like, but you survived. Like, you made it through. Yeah. Like, yeah.
So, and you don't remember any of it either, which is the crazy part. Yeah.
There was one I had picked out. Oh yeah. Was that kind of tied in? Do you feel like babies have put a strain on your marriage? Also, it's somewhat like that last question too, of like what to expect. We were talking about this tonight. Know that the biggest joy that you've ever felt in your life is on the other side of birthing that baby or bringing a kid home in your life, whatever way that you do it. Because Jenna and I were talking about it. We were like, this already, I'm like, this is the greatest feeling I've ever felt in my life. And I can't believe I get to go on the rest of my life knowing what this feels like.
Truly. Also, to say like about the strain on your marriage, I would also like to combine it with this other question where someone said, I'm so sorry, now that you have a baby and babies, how often do you have sex with your husbands? Combining that with like the strain on your marriage thing, I feel like you can't just like put it into this box of like before baby and after baby, because once you have the baby, just like life, there's like good days and bad days, good weeks and bad weeks, good months and bad months, and it just fluctuates so much. And again, a lot of it is just based on the babies, how they're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel like especially as they're babies, they truly run the show. But if you have like older kids, I might have said this on the podcast, maybe when my mom was on, but my parents, like I remember so specifically, like I was maybe like 13 and something like that. And they were going on a date night. Obviously, we were old enough to stay home by ourselves. And I was like, no, like, I don't want you to go. Like, I don't want to stay here. Like, can I come with you? And they're like, no, like, we're prioritizing ourselves, because when we prioritize and we're a strong team, we're going to be better parents to you guys. Obviously, that's different for babies.
Yeah.
But, like, where was I going with that? But, like, seeing your kids seeing you guys, like, being, like, a united front, like, that was, like, very impactful on my life. I wrote that to my parents on my wedding day. I was like, thanks for prioritizing yourself.
That's so sweet. Yeah, I also think, like, about the strain on your marriage thing, like, I had 2 under 2. I'm now graduated by 4 months. But again, I still have really young kids. Obviously, Ashley does too. I'm very aware, and Tanner's also very aware, like, this is not going to be the most electric, like, passionate time in our marriage. And both of us are, like, we just, again, are aware of that. And obviously we put effort in and are still, working on our marriage every single day and prioritizing it. But it's like, we both know, like, we're in the trenches right now, and this will not be forever. Even just, like, when our kids are 4 and 5, it's gonna be easy to whatever it might be. I mean, even just, like, talking about the sex thing, like, you can't really leave your kids alone when they're, what age would you say, under 3?
Like, what do you mean?
Like, you can't just, like, go in the other room.
Oh, okay. I was like, you mean, like, alone by themselves?
You can't just leave them home alone. Like, under 3. So it's like, I was even telling Tanner the other day, I'm like, even if they were just outside playing, old enough to do that, you could, have a little rendezvous or whatever. But it's like, at this point, it's got to be after bedtime.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it might feel a little bit more...
I feel like we talked about this before, like, scheduling or, like, planned out.
Yeah, or just knowing, like, yeah, again, it's not going to be the most electric time in your marriage, but, like, just knowing it's not going to be this way forever. We're on the same team.
Same team is huge.
Yes. And, like, it's going to fluctuate throughout the week or the month or the year. Like, and it's not just going to be, like, as our baby gets older, things get better. Like, it literally is going to fluctuate forever, and that's okay. And just, like, both being like, this is what we signed up for, you know?
Yeah. Seeing my parents on the other side of parenting and graduating to empty nesters and now grandparents, I, like, as a couple that prioritized their relationship through the trenches, but again, like, sometimes they were just crossing each other. But seeing them in their phase of life now, where it's like, it's not like this forever. Like, and we will be alone again. But then, isn't that kind of sad? Like,
please, I saw this TikTok before I got hacked. That was like...
when your algorithm was still curated.
Oh my God. Once I made a new account, I went back and liked, like, hundreds of videos from my old account so I could try to get my algorithm back.
There you go.
But... it was like life after kids leave the house, and it was just like this older woman, and she was just like making 1 cup of coffee, like getting ready, like taking a shower, and like it was just kind of this sad music, and everyone was commenting like, okay, fine, I'll enjoy it.
Fine, I'll be woken up in the middle of the night, it's okay,
it's fine.
Yeah. So how's your sex life?
Wouldn't you sickos like to know?
And
a lot of people said, is sex different after having a baby? And I asked Tanner last night to give his honest opinion. He says no.
Oh.
That personally for him, he thinks that, things are back to where they were. I personally will say I have felt that it has been better after children.
Oh, interesting.
For me... I don't know if I've ever talked about my endometriosis on the podcast.
Which is actually crazy.
Yeah.
Because that's a whole chapter of your life.
It's a huge part of my life. But I had endometriosis, and it was, like, just, it was a whole thing. But one of the things that I struggled with a lot was having painful sex. And I was able to do a lot of things to resolve that before I had kids. But after I had kids, I do just feel like it helped me relax even more, I
Interesting.
guess.
I can't tell you yet.
Ashley is, you guys should not be asking her that. She's way too fresh.
I'm way too fresh. There have been people coming up on my TikTok that are literally like, when you have to wait till 6 weeks. And I'm like, please, please. I literally said, Nicole, don't look in my direction.
I cannot believe that people are having the urge before 6 weeks.
No.
Honestly, also, like, I feel like breastfeeding affects things so much.
Like, what, in which direction do you think?
I feel like, sorry if this is so TMI, like, I feel like when you're breastfeeding, like, you have a hard time kind of like feeling sexual because you're like, my boobs are like milky.
No, I mean, they're literally sustaining life. There's nothing sexual about this.
Yes.
Yeah, no,
and
I
it's
agree.
Like, I don't know. I always felt weird about that when I was breastfeeding.
I'm like, how much do I want to go into detail
Yeah,
about
truly.
this? I, like, the last, like, few months of pregnancy, weeks, like, leading up to, had not one horny hormone in my body. And so I will say, like, when that baby exited me a post few weeks, like, my hormones were leveling out and like regulating and everything. Didn't someone say something about their libido?
Yeah, that was in the one that said, like, how much do you have sex?
Oh, how much? Okay. Like, with, like, after kids?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was like, oh, okay, I am attracted to you again.
Yeah.
Because I literally would feel so bad. I was like, nope, like, not even, like.
You're also just so exhausted that it's, like, hard to see through that.
Also, I'm like, you want to? I'm a whale. Like, what do you mean? But, and anyways, I, like, when literally, like, those hormones were coming back, I was like, oh my gosh, like, a huge relief that I was like,
I thought you were saying, like, oh
Whoa.
my gosh, I'm gonna go crazy.
Whoa, baby. Wait, never mind. But I don't know where I was going with that. But
the hormones
anyways,
came back, you were relieved because you're like, okay, I am feeling normal again.
Yeah, yeah. So if you are pregnant and you don't want to whatsoever, like, know that you will level out.
Also, like, a lot of people who say, like, the libido thing after kids, like, you definitely, like, get your hormones looked at. That's like what Maddie Murphy always talks about. Honestly, I would love to go get my hormones looked at. But Maddie Murphy from the Bad Broadcast, she says the same thing about everything, but also the libido thing. And she's like, once I, like, started taking, like, the correct supplements
and fixed the areas that
were
were
going
low.
Crazy.
I was like a bunny in heat.
Please.
But yeah, I can't fully report yet. I'm a little scared. So
she'll give you the full rundown.
Oh yeah,
later.
Come back in May's podcast, and I'll give you the full rundown.
Yes.
All right. Anything else we should hit?
There was one. I wanted to answer this one. Jenna, was the transition from 0 to 1 or 1 to 2 harder? Definitely 0 to 1. I had a very hard time with that, and 1 to 2 has been literally such a breeze for everyone. I feel like I literally said to Tanner today, and we were both saying, like, I cannot believe we were ever nervous to have him.
Because he's an angel.
He's an angel, but also, like, I don't know how to tell you this. It makes no sense, but having 2 kids is easier than having 1. It just is.
It just like he jumped right in.
He jumped right in. Like, you're just more relaxed. You're just like, you can't focus on just one thing. You're doing stuff all day. The day flies by, and I don't know. It just was so much easier for me. If you, like, just had your first baby and, like, it's, like, felt like a huge life change, it's because it literally is. Like, You are now operating on like ounces and hours when your brain was never doing that before. Like,
Wow, that's a bar.
oh, thanks. Like, you just are like, I mean, I know that like newborns obviously just like sleep whenever, but like, say it's like 3-4 month old baby, you're like literally at like this, like, okay, well, they napped 2 hours ago and they can only have a 2 hour wake window, so now we have to put them back down, and they ate this many ounces, and so I need to make sure they eat this many ounces before the thing, and if they wake up, well, if they only eat this many ounces, they might not sleep as well at night, so I need to make sure that I give them more. And what if they're getting a growth spurt, and what if they're doing this? Like, your brain was literally never thinking of those things before. It was literally, I will wake up, go to work, come home, and go to sleep.
What's for dinner?
Literally. And so, all of that to say, like, as chaotic as that sounds, like, about the feeds and the sleeps and all of that, like, it will just become normal in your mind at some point, and it will no longer feel like this, like, this is not how it used to be. It'll just be like, yeah, this is just how it is, and like, it'll just be natural to you, and it won't just feel like your life has changed so much, because it will just be regular. Yeah. And it won't be like, okay, I have to make sure the diaper bag has the diapers and the extra outfit and the extra snacks and the extra this. It's like, that's just what you do before you go out the door now. And it just is that way. But when you have your first baby, it truly does feel like this, like, holy crap.
Yeah.
What
a
just
full
happened?
rewiring of your brain.
Yes.
Yeah.
But once the rewire happens, just know it's going to get much smoother and easier. And like, adding, I can't speak obviously to the 2 to 3 transition. I've heard that one is hard too, but it's just easier adding more in after you already have the mom mind, you know? You're already thinking ahead on others' behalf.
No, that totally makes sense. And especially since your kids are close in age, it's like you were parenting a 7-month-old not long ago. So
yes,
you get it.
I already know what to do.
Yeah. Someone also asked, this is a quick one. Ashley, was your male doctor that you hated Dr. Fish? Which I also had him. That was not the guy. I will name drop him. His name was Dr. Kellerman. Blacklist him. If you've had a positive experience with him, great for you. No, he was absolutely awful. I met with Dr. Fish a few times and he was fine. Nothing crazy to report, but that's so funny that you were able to detect that. When I saw that, I laughed because I also knew him. Also, I do not mind doing longer episodes when they're only getting to hear our voice once a month.
I completely agree. I love a longer episode because I feel like we can really just hash it out
and really dig into it.
I don't know if you want to answer this question, but I will answer. Are your kids vaccinated? No.
I'm not answering.
Ashley will keep quiet, but if anyone needs to know that information about me. Let's see if there's anything else.
Someone also said, tell us about Ashley's Europe trip. Maybe I'll do a solo episode one time. My plan was to always do, that was back when I was doing it by myself. I was always going to do one. And then I think I said this on the last episode. It was absolutely chaotic and I just never did. It's unfair to do it in an episode with Jenna. So I'll jot down all of my ideas or all of my thoughts and do maybe a little side episode for you.
Yeah, maybe we could that would actually maybe be kind of fun. Like if we did every month was a together and then alternating.
Ooh.
Like a solo.
Literally committing to more.
Actually, what if we did it every week?
Okay, wait, hear me out here. Every Wednesday we dropped a new episode.
Wait, I just saw one that I wanted to answer and then it just went away. What is going on? Oh, I wanted to answer this one. How do you manage your faith with your career being on social media, chasing likes, and trying to gain people's constant approval? You have an answer?
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's not a thing for me.
So I was going to say, why don't I think about that stuff?
Yeah. Okay, wait. I wanted to find it. How do you, yeah.
I only care, talking about career-wise, I do not care how many likes my post gets. I do not care if no one ever looks at my story. I don't even look, honestly. If I have bookings and I'm making enough money to live, I don't
Don't
give
call,
a
don't text.
crap.
Yeah. I will, like, I guess, like, the only thing that would be intertwined is, I think we've both experienced this before, if like we go through a spurt of like not posting, we're like, oh, like, why don't I have like that many
Literally. It
why
is in direct correlation.
yes, why don't I have that many bookings for next year? Literally post consistently for 3 weeks. Oh,
I'm booked and
it's
busy.
interesting. People actually like my stuff.
And it also does not matter how many likes it's
No,
getting
I
or
don't care.
follows or anything. You just have to put out content.
Yeah, that's what I feel recently. Like a lot of, God bless them, a lot of photographers like will do the most curated, beautiful posts I've ever seen, and I'm like, I'm not doing that. Like, that's which, like, I'll do like a AI file swipe like every once in a while and stuff, but most of the time I'm like, that is a good looking photo, I'm going to post that photo.
Yeah, I completely agree. And like people who are wanting to see our work can go into our website and see if they like it. And it doesn't matter the format you post it in. I am truly not trying to go viral. I'm not trying to, like, I'm literally just trying to
Put food on the table.
yes, like, get enough weddings that we are doing well for the year. You know what I mean?
Sorry, I saw that someone said soon to be first time mom here. Ashley, what is your advice on the transition? And literally I would just say, have no schedule and go with the flow. Kind of what already Jenna said. What's your current coffee order? That was a question.
I legit do not order coffee out because the coffee we make at home is the best
Perfection.
thing that we can make. But we order Kelvin Highline blend beans, raw milk, and either maple syrup, or I make my own vanilla syrup, which I've been liking lately.
Ooh, that's nice. I like that.
What is yours?
Wow.
Dirty chai?
Cole and I won't name drop the place because I don't want to out them for giving out the recipe. But we found our favorite chai from our local coffee shop in Pittsburgh. We figured out how to make it, and so we've been making dirty chais nonstop. Honestly, we had to kind of take a break where like it's getting a little too saturated.
Yeah.
So a dirty chai at home, or just a vanilla latte. Here are my syrups. I like vanilla latte, maple syrup, and honey.
Oh, I love honey in
Yeah.
a coffee.
I love the natural sweeteners. Those are nice.
Yeah, I completely agree. We didn't do this one. How do you deal with your insecurities after having babies? Really struggling with my appearance after my second.
Currently, I feel great.
Currently, I'm perfect.
I don't know if I said this in my birth episode. Guys, I gained probably 40 to 50 pounds being pregnant. I lost 30 pounds in the first 72 hours. I had that much water weight going on. Cohen was 6 pounds, so that wasn't a lot of baby.
Yeah. Wait, did you see your placenta? Was it big?
I can show you a picture of it if you if you want to say if it's like
I'll
big or
see
not. But I'm sorry that you're feeling that. I do understand like the insecurities of it, but I've had like those thoughts maybe creep in every once in a while, but then I literally tell myself, you literally just birthed a human and you've done the coolest thing possible. Honestly, it doesn't look that big, I feel like.
It's kind of hard to... Oh, I see the person's leg. I feel like it's, yeah, just like normal size probably. It was probably no more than like, what, 2 pounds, you think? 1 pound?
Maybe. But I keep telling myself, like, you've just done the hardest thing, like, humanly possible. And I think it's incredibly beautiful that my body was able to do that. And I'm by no means back at, like, my pre-pregnancy weight or anything, but I've just kind of kept telling myself that. And then also just supporting my body in, like, positive ways. Like, I've been eating, like, Cole and I have been. I said I was gonna grind in silence, but here I am.
I have been grinding in public.
I now, as officially of today, I will be grinding in public. We've been doing animal-based diet, and we did get sick last week, so I haven't been on it the last week. But supporting my body in that way, knowing that I'm fueling my body and that the weight might come off is like, and but the weight also not being associated with health, I think. Like,
yeah, especially while breastfeeding, it's like you almost like it would almost be better for your supply to like gain more weight.
your body like actually holds on to, like, some people the weight like falls off of them, and some people, especially with breastfeeding, your body holds a reserve because it's like they're for example, I had food poisoning last week, and so lost all of the calories that I had in my body. So my body was pulling from somewhere. It did like affect my supply, and we're on the mend and everything. But I'm sure it was storing up some for winter. So like it had to pull from somewhere. And so I truly, and also like, I think it's kind of a cliche, but give yourself the same amount of grace of time that it took to grow that baby. Like, don't let it be 3 months postpartum and you're like, why don't I look the same? Like, what, or like, why don't I feel the same? Or like, why hasn't this changed or anything? And then especially if you're breastfeeding, probably give yourself 18 months. Like,
or literally until you stop breastfeeding.
Whatever. What would you say?
I was gonna say, like, I have, with my pregnancies, my stomach has always just kind of like gone back to normal, which, like, I'm not saying that in like a bragging way at all, but it's just how it has been for me. But I definitely noticed, like, after having 2, that like my skin on my stomach is more loose. I thought it would be that way just after being pregnant in general, but it's definitely more now that I've had 2. And then also,
like, it's done the stretch twice.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes. And again, it's not that it's like my stomach is bigger. It's just like when I like scrunch or anything, like you can see that like the skin is, you guys know what looser skin looks like. And then like for me, another thing, this is so stupid, but like that I weirdly feel so insecure about like post babies is like my postpartum hair regrowth.
That's a big thing for a lot of people.
Not even the hair loss. It's like the little bangs that like come in. And I'm just like, I don't know why it bugs me so much. But I feel like for those things, like the best thing that I've done is just like, and this might be terrible advice, but I'm just like, kind of same as you. It's like, okay, that's how it is. I had 2 babies. I'm proud of that. I'm not like gonna be ashamed of those things. But like, right now it's the middle of winter. I just wear a lot of hats to cover that. Like in the summertime, whenever it's time to wear bathing suits, like if I'm not feeling great about like my stomach, I'll just get a bathing suit that covers it. You know, like you don't have to be this like, you don't have to be the same person you were before. You don't have to be whatever the thing that you're insecure about is, flaunting it how you did before. Like you can buy some new clothes, you can do a new thing, like, and it can be like beautiful in like a new way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I have just told myself it's out of my control at the moment, and that's okay. And right now, my like, what is something I can control? I can control putting the best foods possible into my body. I've had the desire to work out more, which has been really nice, and has
me
like,
too, Ashley. But
really,
I just like, I can't get myself to like join a gym.
Yeah, it's, you need to find what works for you, because for the longest time I was like, I will do at-home workouts, and then I would never do it.
I will never do an at-home workout.
Here's the thing. I then would like go to Pure Barre, and I loved it, and I truly do love it. But right now, you know, we adjusted our incomes and everything, so I'm not looking to spend extra on stuff. So we're not going
Yeah, and you're also not looking to ask your husband, who is the one earning most of the money, to take 3 hours of his day off so you can drive to the gym, go work out, sit in the sauna, and then drive back. Like, that's my problem right now, is I'm like, I feel bad. Also, the gym here is not open many hours. So it's
that's
like
annoying.
it has to be kind of during the day.
Yeah, that's annoying.
Sorry, continue.
But yeah, like financially, I'm like I've done ClassPass in the past and like that, whatever. Like, but yeah, you're right. Like the leaving and everything isn't really a desire / in the cards for me right now. We are very lucky. My parents have purchased Peloton equipment, and so we have a tread and a bike in our basement, and then you also just have like all of like the classes and everything. I have been absolutely loving like doing Peloton workouts.
I didn't know you've been doing it. Because
Again, I've been grinding in the dark. I've been grinding in the dark.
I didn't want to say it.
I didn't want to say it. And literally, this is why I can't have a
Wow.
podcast.
Because I will spill my guts on everything.
But yeah, like I don't need to sell it. It is 100% worth it. And it's just funny how seasons of life change, because when I was like just a wife, like married and like had no other responsibilities but going to work, I literally couldn't get my butt downstairs to work out. I was like, oh, I'd rather just go to a class. I need the accountability of like knowing that if I don't come to this class, I have to pay a fee or something. Like, I need that accountability. And then literally it'll be like 6 p.m. at night, and I'm like, hey, before I cook dinner, can I like go do a class real quick? And Cole's like, yeah, I don't care. And I'm like, okay, cool. And it was never like Cole like being like, oh, don't do that, or like whatever. It was like me being lazy. And now that everyone says that about becoming a mom too. They're like, your time, like you do so much in the amount of time that you have, because it's all fleeting now.
Yeah, like going back to what I was saying before, like it literally makes you so much more resilient, so much just like better in every way. Truly.
Yeah. And so I was like, how did we get here? I've been loving working out. Okay, yeah, that's what it was. I control what I'm eating, putting like good things in my body, and then like moving my body. I'm like, those are two things I can control. I can't control if that makes me lose any weight, but I definitely control how it makes me feel, and it makes me feel great. So I'm going to do those things. I'm not going to step on a scale and just let it be what it is.
Yeah.
That would be my advice to a postpartum mom. Yes. And if you're pregnant, literally just don't like, if someone would have told me any of those things while I was pregnant, actually the one thing a doctor told me literally at my 8-week appointment, I don't know why she felt the need to say this, but she was like, do you work out? And I was like, I did before this, because I was really sick in the beginning. And I was like, I did before I got pregnant. And she said, you know, you don't have to stop.
You didn't tell me that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's why I didn't go to that. Well, not why I didn't go to that girl, but that comment too. And I said, well, yeah, I know, but like I haven't been feeling good.
Yeah.
And I was just like, don't you think I would if I wanted to?
Yeah.
Jerk. So.
Okay, we'll end with one question that was on the thing that said, favorite thing about being a mom.
That's a good one to end with. I can't even describe that. Like literally the first time that they smile at you, it's like the best feeling in the entire world, and you're just like, my whole life has been like building up to this moment. I just love being a caretaker. That's very much in my nature. Again, I'm 2 months in, so all he does is pee, poop, smile, and eat. Like, and sleep. And so, but yeah, I mean, the first smiles and giggles that we've gotten out of him, both Cole and I have been like, why did we even wait 2 years into marriage? Like, yeah, we should have just done this immediately. But yeah, just knowing that he relies on me. I don't know.
I also love that, like being a caretaker for someone and knowing how much they need you. It's very sweet. My favorite current thing is how much Monty has been talking.
Oh, she's so fun. I feel
like Tanner and I have been we always loved the hilarious things that kids would say. Like, you even remember how we would always like impersonate a kid like a long time ago?
Yes.
We just like always love when they would be so funny and just say the most out of pocket stuff. And she's finally getting to the point where she'll say like sentences as opposed to just like a word here and there. And it's just, it also makes my life so much easier.
She's also spreading rumors about you.
About
to
me
family
peeing
members.
and pooping.
Yes.
Yeah. She's like obsessed with poop already. I don't know if that's like age appropriate. I know kids all get obsessed with poop.
Yeah, I think they are all just so curious by it.
Yes. But no, like she's finally like out of just like the single words. It also, again, yeah, makes my life so much easier because she can tell me stuff finally. Like I'm like, what's wrong? She's like, I dropped my snack. And I'm like, okay, I'll pull over and get it.
Oh my gosh, like last week we were leaving the science center and they took a photo together, and then all of a sudden we're driving, like they took a photo together at the science center, it printed off, Monty was holding it. They drove through the tunnel and I was right behind them, and I see Jenna pull over and I was like, oh my gosh, are you okay? And she was like, Monty dropped the picture. She's yelling,
Mommy, I dropped the picture.
It was the whole thing. I had to pull over.
Yeah, it's so fun. I mean, literally it just gets better constantly.
Yeah, I am so excited for literally every phase. I don't know, again, I'm a very chill, go with the flow person, so I'm like, even in the trenches of like probably the hardest like months and weeks, I'm just kind of like, okay, like,
yeah,
all right,
we'll get through it.
Yeah, but this was so fun. I love answering questions. I like when people like was like, oh, do you want to hear about this, especially talking about being a mom. Like I'm like, oh, it's so fun to talk about. And the fact that people are like actually wanting to hear about it, I'm like, oh, I'll spill my guts.
It doesn't just feel like you're just like saying it unsolicited.
Mm-hmm. But I don't know, what will the April episode hold?
I don't know.
Will there be another one before this? I don't know.
Who knows?
Pray for Jenna. They are going on a road trip.
Yep. You're driving
kids.
to Nashi.
Go visit the besties.
Gonna visit some friends, and I think it'll be fine.
Yeah. So we'll have a lot to report on in April.
Yeah, we're both gonna had some travels.
Yeah, Cohen's first flight. We're excited. Cohen's first Disney trip.
Wait, you didn't tell me. I mean, I guess I should have assumed. Is he gonna wear his ears?
We'll see if they fit. We'll see how they look. But Grandma got him a first visit onesie. It's very cute. So you can anticipate all of the content. Old Navy has a lot of Disney stuff right now. So my mom has cleaned up there. Yeah.
So cute.
It's actually really cute.
Old Navy has really cute
I can't stop. I got some stuff on Saturday, like for myself. I got these really cute pair of linen pants, and then I wore them all day yesterday, and they were way too big, so I had to take them back.
Aww.
That's on grinding in the dark.
And on that note,
we love you guys. We will see you next time.
Bye-bye.